Okay, let's get this salt summoning circle running, brother.
Team, you're frustrated, you're angry, and man, I get it. I'm right there with you.
A little context for the background.
One of the things that we struggle with is learning how to talk about
this. Shouldn't hurt
these type of
Leviathan truth out here tonight. Stick that on the board. Hopefully we get that tonight. Wouldn't you just love it for somebody to jump across when I hit this and fire it off to get into information or show how the context can work. I'm going to try to come at this a
little bit sideways, if that makes sense. A little dog leg,
guy over here.
And I will on the back end. I'll be a little bit more direct as far as where Stoker's coming from. But I want to talk about some of my observations, things that I've learned from my experience and
midnight,
what we see here, because I think it doesn't matter what the hot topic issue is, right? It may be Afghanistan right now.
Just lifetimes and doing stuff.
For the past year and a half, it's been COVID.
First meeting.
For a lot of people, it's been
obviously it's awkward.
Black Lives Matter
conversations.
Maybe it's been critical race
theory.
Anybody
else out here we can jump into, or is this a personal thing that I got to do because you want to kill me? Am I in your office?
Maybe it's been January 6th. Man, you pick the conversation.
We gotta get there.
And there's somebody out there who has a really strong connection.
So I think it's relative to today's topics, no matter what we do, especially with this topological model. I don't have any book models. I have to make a book model.
Or if you watch Fox,
I have to be able to use those things, even if I have the code
or even
and sequence. I gotta be able to look at that.
Further away from those two, right? And you're going to be fed with a narrative, with a story.
Stick to my timelines.
And when we see and we hear things that comes from an institution or an organization, then we start to believe what they say. Especially if we
no names. We're
from
just
our
looking for wild
upbringing
things
that these
tonight.
sorts of organizations are supposed to be reputable.
Not wild things, but
right? So I
sensible things that can explain things to us from military councils.
But sometimes I think we want to
destabilization
hear and
of
raise our
ranks
voices to
and
such a
systems
degree
to explain certain things to us
that
tonight.
we start to
and
lose a little
hopefully
sense
give a little
of
clairvoyance
ourself.
to the system.
And I hope I can try to break this down in a way that makes sense.
That can make sense to us, so we don't make mistakes and wind up getting kicked out.
Because ultimately what we're talking about is, when we see something and we hear something and we want to say something, but we don't know how to say something, or we don't want to say something because we're afraid of some kind of backlash.
I'm looking for information. Can anybody out there help tonight?
And an ethical dilemma is ultimately when we have two opposing values. Most of the time, it's integrity and it's loyalty. When these things are trying to smash up against each other, we find ourselves not knowing what to do, how to do it, or what to say, or how to say it. But we know that we feel that we have to say
readjustment,
right? I mean, if you look at all of the people over the course of just the past 2 years,
can you answer us if you're willing to try to answer some questions
tonight? A long
tonight?
portion of time in history, just in this year, right? Just during 2021.
If you have free time or interested in communicating over here, could give us a little peg on our device.
The amount of and type of responses that have absolutely been unbelievable. Like, nobody would say these things to my
I'm sorry to bother you at the gates. I'm just asking, as a living person sitting out here trying to communicate in free thought. Is that a problem for you guys?
Man, I get it, but here's the thing.
Not to be disrespectful.
Social media warriors, man, we all have keyboard action badges, right? And we believe that we can say whatever we want to say online, right? And
am I at somebody's house? Am I disturbing them?
I have animosity. I have freedom of maneuver when we're typing on a keyboard. See it all the time.
I can provide information of the current day. Would that be useful to you as a prophet?
Because we don't know how to talk about some of these emotional and hot topic issues. When we're talking about values and society.
Is there anybody else out there tonight so I do not disturb this person or entity that would like to conversate with me tonight?
When Posh really started to come to the surface, right? And we started talking about sexual harassment, sexual assault. How we talk about it as an institution was we said, here's what the
Is there any female presences out there tonight?
These things. And by the way, if you're a single female or whatever, don't go out at night and don't wear short skirts. That's how we initially started talking about sexual harassment and sexual assault. Again, we don't know how to talk about it. If all we can do is talk about what's black and white.
Is anything useful to you from this perspective, where these voices have come before?
I mean, we need to talk about what the regulations is and what the guidance is. But I think, what would it be like if we talk about things through more of a value-based conversation, right? If I talk
That
about
got pretty serious.
What it means to live with loyalty,
Well, we'll take a break for now. Goodbye.
I can get the same point across.
But at that conceptual model there, that got pretty heavy. Don't talk to me or don't do anything. That seemed pretty clear. I didn't get an answer every time, but pretty close to it off every question. Pretty heavy there. Yeah. I thought we were doing pretty well up until this point in today, but there's that. I don't know if it certainly mattered, but it would be coalition twice of that same model for me on my end of it. Now, it was something similar to that both times. Well, every time really. There was
and I'm talking to them. What I try to tell them is what I want them to do.
Certain standards inside of here where I'm trying to get that involved and going. I suppose it's better than static, but I wasn't exactly looking for shock tactics, you know what I mean? I don't know, maybe that app's fucked up, but inside of there, like I said, I'm not trying to do that. I'm actively looking for a way to, well, deal with what possesses you. Firstly, probably why that's so high on the table, if I had to imagine anything, from your regular hello to your bigger indexes out there that might be able to integrate into that form, but we want to do.
So what I try to press in and lean on my guys to do is remember these things, remember these goals, and take a step towards them. Move to them. Don't be stagnant.
We'll have to take that in stride there, Stroker. Give breaks between those things so I just don't immediately trigger it the fuck off and piss it off, you know what I mean? That's not what I'm after for here. So, in that regard.
It's a big difference.
So let's see what that review looks
dynamically
like.
different.